Now, in yesterday's episode of Washington in Focus Daily, we shared a Washington Policy Center analysis of a program that is was founded in Seattle and King County to reduce arrests. Instead of prosecuting people when it's a drug-related crime, we can, if the person's willing and police agree, I won't forward, recommended charges here. Instead, if this person is willing to connect with the lead program, diversion program. So the idea being, don't fill up the jails with people committing drug related crimes. If they've got a problem, maybe we can take this other course and keep them out of ever being incarcerated for the crime that they committed. But according to Washington Policy Center, the data and the success of the LEAD program is based on a lot of inaccuracies. And there's a 12-page analysis that I would encourage you to check out if you want to take a deeper dive on this. Again, this was Washington Policy Center's Eric Zimmerman put this up, and it's linked on his. There's a brief article, and then there's a link to the entire 12-page report that is, worth a look if you're interested. I reached out late yesterday to, or later in the day, to the lead architect of all these programs. Her name is Lisa Daugaard, former public defender in the city of Seattle. And by the end of the day, on Tuesday, she agreed to give me an interview this morning. So then I agreed to hold my article until I had an opportunity to listen to her. She was not pleased that Washington Policy Center put out this analysis, which, by the way, this is a national piece, could have some national implications for LEAD, which has been replicated in many other local jurisdictions, and states have taken on this program as well. She was not happy to not be consulted before the piece went out, but I did confirm with her because Mr. Zimmerman at WPC told me he was supposed to have an interview with Lisa Daugaard on Monday, and she canceled that meeting. Now, she tells me that, yes, in fact, she canceled the meeting and was going to hope to reschedule into next week, but she did not know, she claims, that this analysis was coming out. And had she known that, that might have, I don't know if that would have, prompted her to not cancel the interview, but at any rate, she would have liked to have an opportunity to look at the analysis before it went out, because there's going to be obviously a lot of backlash on the LEAD program and questions that probably should be asked and answered. She did admit one thing to me. One of the big data points that Zimmerman said was false was supporters with LEAD claim that the program reduces recidivism by 58%. So guys in with a drug related crime, whatever that was, and he goes into the LEAD program instead, 58% of the time, those folks are not going to commit another crime. It's going to end the cycle right there. But she conceded that that's actually an inaccurate data point, and in the future they will correct it. She appreciated WPC pointing that out. She told me it actually should be stated as reducing the likelihood of recidivism by 58% up against a control group. That gets a little bit nuanced, a little gray, if you will. So likelihood of recidivism at 58% is apparently the correct data point they should be putting out there. So here's another issue, the employment success that LEAD claims. I asked her a lot about this morning, and you're going to see her response, because basically she said someone participating in LEAD maybe even gets, clean and sober while they're in the program, would ideally then be on a path to self-sufficiency, maybe getting a job. But Lisa Daugaard told me today that employment is not even a stated mission for their program.
LEAD is not a jobs program, and it works with people many of whom are chronically, if not lifelong, disabled. But what it was trying to do, it's the core mission of LEAD is to reduce crime. And so we are interested in stabilizing lawful income. Jobs are only one way to do that. Enrolling people in public benefits or achieving other ways of folks not needing to be involved in illicit economic activity, selling stolen property, selling drugs. That is an objective. And so that's why, jobs was, if anyone had a job by the end of this as a result, that was a super neat story, not necessarily expected, not a stated goal of the program.
Critics of the LEAD program, including Ginny Burton, who runs Out Impact Coalition, argue that diversion programs like LEAD are anything but compassionate because they're not really requiring lasting change. Burton transformed herself after her final arrest at the age of 40, and she runs a 26-week curriculum with prisoners inside the Olympic Corrections Facility in Forks. And she talks about, you've got to get to the bottom of, people learning integrity, healthy relationships, accountability, so that then when they get out of prison, they can succeed and really be self sufficient. So here's Ginny Burton, critic of the LEAD program.
Is just keeping someone breathing and diverted from criminal justice a success metric? Why are we not looking to people who are actually solving the problem? What happens when you focus on a detail or a thing? Does that thing not sort of expand into our awareness? Does it, when we focus on the problem, and I think Seattle is a really great social experiment for this, does not the problem just continue to get bigger? Because when the focus is the problem, then we need more money to address the problem. Well, why are we not actually focusing on the solution? Why are we not looking to places and organizations and people that are actually solving the problem? And what does that mean? That means working directly with this specific subset of the population in a way that is intentional, helping them actually develop skills necessary for self-sufficiency, for the exit from dependency on public goods and services. It's 100% possible. I am living proof of it. I'm not an anomaly. I know thousands of people just right here in the state of Washington who do. As a matter of fact, LEAD specifically employs a significant amount of people just like me who are freed from the dependency of these problematic constructs, and they utilize them to communicate something. And a lot of these people were actually freed because of incarceration, mind you. So it's quite interesting to me what it is. Well, and I think that we need to look at it like this. The power of the word is unparalleled. So when you take a person who has destroyed their life and gotten back on track and doesn't have a lot of self-worth and believes that an industry knows more or better, it's really easy to drink that Kool-Aid and then parrot out those same vocabulary statements that suggest that this industry knows better, though the individual that is serving under the umbrella of that agency actually became free in complete opposition to their mission.
Now, as to housing LEAD participants, some do get shelter as a result, but that's by and large taxpayer funded housing. I talked about that today with Lisa Daugaard, including those downtown hotels the city operates. Some of the LEAD participants are living in those facilities. Now, among the policy recommendations in Washington Policy Center's report, we'll put this up, says jurisdictions where LEAD has been adopted should pause the expansion of such programs, place programs into external audit by an independent program auditor, evaluate the use of alternatives, including baseline criminal justice and compliance dependent and residential treatment diversion case by case. So, a lot more to come on this. I have a feeling there's going to be some attention paid to this by state lawmakers because of this wide analysis that WPC has put out and LEAD pushing to secure some additional funding for their program.